Vaush, we may not agree on a lot, but one thing I think we can agree on is that Fox News is no good. And you'll notice that whenever they have a Muslim on Fox News, one of the tactics they will use is they'll say to the Muslim guest, they'll say, "Do you denounce Hamas?" And of course, the Muslim guest will say, "I denounce terrorism. I'll oppose that." That's not enough. You must denounce Hamas. When they have an anti-racist activist or an activist against police brutality on Fox News, they'll say, "Do you denounce Black Lives Matter? Do you denounce the radicals and the Black Panthers?" And they'll respond, "Of course we denounce violence. Of course we denounce lawbreaking." No, that's not good enough. Somebody in the Black movement said something radical. We want you to denounce them. This tactic of demanding that people denounce other people in their movements is a tactic that the right wing has used against progressive forces and consistently uses. And the way it manifests it among socialists and against those who advocate building a socialist society is the demand, sure, you can believe in socialism, but you must denounce as loud as possible every country around the world trying to build socialism. You must repeat State Department propaganda against them. And if you don't do that, you are somehow the equivalent of a Holocaust denier or a Nazi. And that is very, very dangerous. It's a big problem in our movement. Now, Vaush, I know that you and I have very, very different definitions of socialism. I'm not going to change your mind, but I'm going to tell you the definition of socialism that I understand. It comes from Frederick Engels, from his book, which is one of the most important books in the history of Marxism, Socialism, Utopian and Scientific, where he says that socialism is when, quote, "the proletariat seizes public power and by means of this transforms the socialized means of production, shipping them from the hands of the bourgeoisie into public property. Socialized production upon a predetermined plan becomes henceforth possible, and anarchy in social production vanishes." And I think that there are societies around the world that have done that have seized the means of production. There have been mass anti-imperialist and socialist working class peasant movements that have risen up, seized control of the means of production. And yes, they've done bad things. Yes, human rights have been violated. Yes, crimes have been committed, and no one is here to defend those bad things. But I think as those of us who want to build socialism in the United States, I think we can learn from those struggles. And I think that portraying Tankies as if they are fascists or as if they are the equivalent of white supremacists is a big blunder. And this kind of tanky baiting has been a threat to the entire progressive movement. The war on organized labor began in the 1950s when they pushed some of the most revolutionary labor leaders like Harry Bridges and William Z. Foster out of the labor movement with this anti-Stalinism, this anti-Tankyism. And a lot of Trotskyites and social democrats went along with it, and it hurt the entire labor movement. Bernie Sanders' campaign, he was tanky baited because he said that Cuba's healthcare system has been good. 60 Minutes did a hit piece on him. That became the whole focus. Bernie Sanders won't denounce existing socialism loudly enough. This hurts the entire progressive movement. It's not helpful. And I hope that your audience, they may not agree with me about China or the former Soviet Union or that, but I hope that they will understand that trying to divide the movement, painting, people in the movement who are anti-racist and anti-fascist as if they are somehow the equivalent of the far right, which is very dangerous and rising and pushing hate, that I hope people in your audience will rethink that and try to build unity among progressive forces as we struggle against the prison industrial complex, the economic crisis, the rising police state, and try to get to a better world. That's where I'm at, Vaush. Let's talk.